After a week off, that countdown to kickoff is back on here on the first Saturday in November. The Crimson Tide left yesterday afternoon for Death Valley as they get ready to play LSU. It's an SEC West elimination game, and we'll get you ready for it on Crimson Tide Kickoff next. Next on Crimson Tide Kickoff, Nick Saban's Tide gets ready to face Les Miles' Tigers, better known as
my damn strong football team.
What's on the line for both teams? How will the Tide defend two quarterbacks? And how will Bama's offense try to poke holes in a stout Tiger defense? Plus, Bama's BCS picture gets brighter. Does a perfect home stretch guarantee a spot in Glendale? We'll talk with an expert. And in our SEC Roundup, the very latest on Auburn quarterback Cam Newton and the allegations surrounding him. Careful, it's a jungle out there.
We need an elephant outside the locker room.
It's Crimson Tide Kickoff, and it starts right now.
Have a great day.
Live from the campus of the University of Alabama, this is Crimson Tide Kickoff with Gary Harris and John Huddleston. Brought to you by AT&T and by Alpha Insurance.
Well, good morning, everybody. Alongside John Huddleston, I'm Gary Harris. Welcome in to Crimson Tide Kickoff, presented by Alpha Insurance and AT&T, the official wireless communications provider for the Crimson Tide Athletic Department. AT&T, rethink possible. Who was it that's been saying they wanted cold weather?
Not me. Not me.
Well, it was me, but I'm rethinking that thought right now. It is chilly here on the University of Alabama campus this morning, but I'll say this is football weather.
It is. Richard was saying a little while ago it was 31 degrees when we came in. I'm not sure what it is right now. It feels about 31 right now.
Maybe 32.
Yeah, maybe 32. Might have gone up a degree. Sun's starting to come out. So
it's a beautiful morning.
Beautiful day. Great day for football.
And it's supposed to be a beautiful morning in Baton Rouge, and we'll have more on, of course, the Baton Rouge forecast later on. We got, as I said, another jam-packed show.
Absolutely, Gary. And Richard will be along later to tell us exactly how cold it's going to get here in Tuscaloosa, as well as down in Baton Rouge. Also ahead, a great lineup of guests this morning. Jerry Palm of collegebcs.com and cbssports.com will join us to discuss the BCS picture. Also, we'll chat live with LSU Associate Athletic Director Herb Vincent and get the Tigers' take on today's game. Plus, a new book to tell you about today. It's called Bear Bryant on Leadership, Life Lessons from a 6-time national championship coach. It will be in bookstores in the coming days, but this morning we'll get a sneak preview as we talk with one of the authors. But first this morning, this afternoon's game in Tiger Stadium is being dubbed an elimination game. What we mean by that is both Alabama and LSU enter with one loss on their record. And if either team loses, it becomes much more difficult for them to make it to Atlanta. LSU is already behind the 8-ball. They have to win today and then hope Auburn loses twice. But in the Tide's case, a win in Tiger Stadium, and they still control their own destiny.
The choices we make and the action we take will certainly determine how successful we have a chance to be here in this last 1/3 of the season. And the focus doesn't need to be on the finish line. The focus needs to be on the process of what we need to do every day to play the best football we're capable of playing.
We talk about that, but then it's more controlling the things that we can control, and frankly, to keep our position in the West is what we need to do, and to do that, we have to take it one at a time, and this very next one is an awfully important one.
So the national championship picture, let's be honest, Alabama has more to play for. The Tide sat at home last weekend and watched both Missouri and Michigan State join the ranks of one-loss teams. Both squads had previously been ranked ahead of the Tide in the BCS standings, but now Alabama finds themselves with a clear road to Glendale. That's only if they can take care of business today.
Well, I can assure you I was rooting for Nebraska and Iowa on Saturday, that's for sure. But yeah, I think it was great, obviously, for us as an individual. We understand that it all starts with our game against LSU, and quite frankly, in order to get where we need to go, we need to take care of business from here on out.
And I think there's a lot of other people probably in the same boat. So it's who can take care of their business, the best. down the road by what you control, and what you control is how we play. What we control is how we play. So I think that's the most important thing that we want to be able to focus on, and that's why we need everybody's best right now at this time of the year.
So here's the BCS standings as of this morning. Alabama currently 6th. Ahead of them are non-automatic qualifiers TCU, Boise State, and Utah. Now keep in mind the Horned Frogs and the Utes play each other today, so obviously one of them is going down. And it's thought that if Bama wins out, thus beating number 2 Auburn, the Tide would jump any of those 3 and earn a spot in the national championship game. Coming up at 8:15, Jerry Palm of collegebcs.com and of cbssports.com will join us to discuss Bama's BCS bubble. Gary?
Well, John, of course, you have to remember this. Bama's BCS bubble could get popped in a hurry this afternoon in Baton Rouge if the Tide can't take care of business against LSU. Now, there is a bit of mystery surrounding this Alabama football team. Which team will show up? The team that has dominated opponents like Tennessee in the second half, or some of the teams early on in the schedule, or the one that lost at South Carolina and struggled in a victory over Ole Miss? We do know for sure that LSU is going to throw not 1, but 2 quarterbacks at the Tide. Both Jordan Jefferson and Jarrett Lee possess different skill sets, so how will Alabama go about defending against a 2-quarterback system?
We got to look in the backfield and see who's back there, and know what you need to do at that moment in time. You know, execute your assignment first, and know how you need to contain the quarterback.
Jefferson's a real good mobile quarterback. We got to try and, keep him in the pocket, disguise things, confuse him around a little bit. As far as when the pocket passer comes in, we just got to keep him in the pocket and, just keep him rattled.
Movement by LSU.
And while LSU, I should say, on offense has not looked that impressive, their defense, well, it's been an opposite story. When it comes to total defense in the SEC, LSU's ranked number 1. They're ranked number 1 in pass defense. They're near the top in every defensive category, and that could mean problems for the Crimson Tide trying to move the football.
It'll be difficult. I mean, I don't think it's anything you ever want to do as a player, is play against a great defense like this. But it's definitely going to be a great challenge for us. I know we're looking forward to it. We had a good study on them last week in the Thursday practice, and it was just kind of a good starting point for us.
They run real well. They run to the ball, and they play the game how it's supposed to be played, with a lot of passion, a lot of heart, every single year they've been a great challenge for us.
Statistically, on defense, on the right side of your screen there, you can see LSU stacks up at the top in total defense, pass defense, second in scoring defense, middle of the pack in rush defense, but that's only because Auburn torched them for over 400 yards in their last game. Offensively, not so much. Look at that, near the bottom in total offense, last in passing offense, 10th in scoring offense. They do run the football pretty well. That is certainly their strong point going into this Alabama game. But I think, as we'll talk about later in the program, most people feel like they're going to have to throw it some to have success against the Alabama defense.
Yeah, absolutely, Gary. A lot more on this game coming up a little bit later on. But right now, I guess we want to go to our main man of the morning. Richard Scott's going to join us now and tell us about how cold it's going to get today. Richard?
Hey, John, yeah, very cold this morning. Even though the sun's rising now, temperature's still at or below freezing here in the Tuscaloosa area, but it's just going to stay cold today. Let's show you the forecast today. 43 degrees by 10 o'clock this morning, a chilly day, but as Gary said, hey, it's football weather. It's early November. This is about where we should be this time of the year. Temperatures approaching 57 by 3 o'clock. Lots of sun and low humidity, obviously, today. Just a gorgeous day, bluebird skies out there. Of course, a little bit later on in the show, John and Gary will talk about the forecast down in Louisiana, Baton Rouge, which is looking cold as well. John and Gary?
All right, thank you, Richard. We're just getting warmed up here on Crimson Tide Kickoff, no pun intended.
You know, coming up on the program, when Les Miles gets in a microphone, anything can happen and usually does. Confusion, sometimes even, well, you just don't know what's going to come out of his mouth. There's even a new website devoted to the so-called Mileisms.
He's fun to watch, no doubt about that. Later, we will talk with a BCS expert who will update us on Bama's quest to get back in title contention. Don't go anywhere. Crimson Tide Kickoff continues in just 2 minutes.
When you sit there and watch a football Saturday and you don't have a football game to play, you wonder where you're at. I think those things are not things that should continue. I don't know that getting over the hump is kind of the view.
And I'm excited about the opportunity of my damn strong football team to play in it.
I've found that there was limitations to my TV. I couldn't get to every channel that I needed to get to as fast as I needed to get to it. It's a necessity that we need both quarterback skills.
Busy. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Well, he's fun to listen to, if nothing else. Les Miles, who is the master of the King's English and always good for an interesting quote, is now being honored with his very own webpage. LSU graduate Ken Womack has created the quotablelesmiles.com. The website contains more than 500 quotes from Miles, and the site uses the headline, Inspirational Words of Wisdom from LSU's head football coach. Womack says, look, seriously, he didn't start the website to expand criticism of the coach, but only to entertain fans. Of course, as long as Miles is at LSU and as long as Nick Saban's at Alabama, you're going to have a lot of coaching comparisons, Gary.
No doubt about it. Let's take a look at a couple of years ago when Alabama played at LSU for the first time under Nick Saban. A bonfire, Coach Saban burned in effigy. But this time around, Saban's ties to LSU doesn't seem to be as big a story, at least from the Alabama perspective. But for LSU fans, well, this may not ever die down. Neither will the comparisons. Earlier this week, Coach Miles was asked about the comparisons between he and Coach Saban.
I've never really looked at this game as being about the coaches. I have great respect for Coach Saban, felt like and feel like he's done a great job. I really think it's about LSU and Alabama's players and taking it to the field and playing an aggressive college game that's is going to be noteworthy.
Coming up, dissecting the BCS, it's not something for the layman. That's why John and I don't try to do it. You got to have an expert like Jerry Palm from BCS.com. He'll be back to talk about Alabama, where they size up in the BCS. You're watching Crimson Tide Kickoff presented by AT&T and Alpha Insurance. And welcome back to Crimson Tide Kickoff presented by AT&T and Alpha Insurance. Take a look at this pullover that I'm wearing. Take a good look at the one John's wearing when we go back to a two-shot. They're beautiful. They're original elephant wear, available at the Locker Room, located on the University Strip in Tuscaloosa, just up from where we're sitting this morning, in fact. 46 years, that's how long the Locker Room has been around. It's a Tuscaloosa tradition, and that tells you one thing. They do business the right way. That's how you keep people coming back for 46 years. This original elephant wear is the hottest thing in Tuscaloosa. There's an Alabama home game coming up next Saturday. Between now and then, get by the Locker Room, get you some original elephant wear, whether it's shirt, a pullover, pants, tie. They've got it all. Go by and see Rush or Alex, and they will take care of you. Or you can look them up online. Just Google search Locker Room Tuscaloosa and check out their inventory of original elephant wear.
All right, here's the deal. We have got Jerry Palm on the line. We are having some communication difficulties, so we are going to take a break, try to sort everything out. When we come back, we're hopefully going to talk to him, break down all the BCS stuff. As they say, Gary, it's live television. Things happen.
Yeah, we'll try to get Jerry Palm on, and he'll break it down. If not, we'll break it down for you in about 30 seconds.
Yeah.
So if Alabama goes 12-1,
we're about to become BCS gurus real quick.
We'll tell you that. Stick around. We got more Crimson Tide Kickoff right after this.